My beloved child in faith is not just believing when everything is good. It's holding on when everything feels broken. And I see you. I see your quiet faith, the kind that persists even in the silence. I see the way you have kept walking, even though you felt alone, misunderstood, and weary. This message is not a coincidence. It's my reminder to you, I have not left you. I never will. You know, faith is not a one-time decision. It's a daily surrender. It's choosing me over fear, over doubt, over pain in New Costa Rica. And I know how hard that can be. I know that you've been walking through seasons where it feels like the storms just won't stop. You've prayed, you've waited, and still the answers haven't come. But hear me, just because you don't see it doesn't mean I'm not working. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean I've forgotten your path. You know, in fact, some of my greatest work happens in the silence. You've asked me, Lord, do you still hear me? And I whisper, yes, my child. I hear every whisper of your soul, even the ones you can't put into words. You've asked me, Lord, have you forgotten your promise? And I say, no. I am the God who remembers. I am the God who finishes what I start. Faith is trusting my timing when you want answers now. Faith is believing in the light even when you're surrounded by darkness. Faith is walking into the unknown because you know I'm already there, waiting for you. You know, my child, I'm teaching you how to trust me without conditions. I'm teaching you how to believe even when the blessing hasn't arrived yet. Your faith is not being ignored. It's being refined. It's being strengthened like gold in the fire. You've been tested, but you're not being destroyed. You're being prepared. Remember Abraham? I asked him to wait for years for a promise. I gave him a son, not on his timeline, but on mine. Remember Joseph? Betrayed, imprisoned, forgotten. But I raised him up at the perfect moment. Remember David? Anointed as king, yet he spent years running in the wilderness. What do they all have in common? You know, they held on to faith. And so will you. Faith doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite it. Faith isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about knowing that I am perfect and that I work all things together for good, even the messy things. Sork, you keep asking me, Lord, when will it happen? When will things get better? And I say to you, trust me with the how, the when, and the what. Your only job is to keep believing. There is power in patient faith. There is purpose in delayed answers. I am not punishing you. I am preparing you. Every delay has a design. Every detour has a direction, and every unanswered prayer is met with my presence. Rio, when your knees are tired from praying, I am kneeling beside you. When your eyes are swollen from tears, I am collecting every drop. When your strength is gone, I carry you. You know, do not mistake the silence for absence. Do not confuse waiting with denial. You know, I know how much you wanted it to work out differently. I know how you thought the healing would come sooner, or the relationship would be restored, or the opportunity would have opened by now. But what you see as denial, I see as protection. What you see as delay, I see as development. You know, you say, I'm not strong enough, and I say my power is made perfect in your weakness. You know, you say, I'm losing hope, and I say, faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. You know, you say, everyone else is moving forward but me, and I say, you are not behind. You are in my perfect timing. Yeah, the path I've written for you is unlike anyone else's. You are not forgotten in the crowd. I see you. I know the details of your story. I see every sacrifice you've made, every step of obedience, every moment you chose faith over fear, and I will reward it. There is a version of you that you haven't even met yet. The healed you, the whole you, the walking in purpose you. That version is being shaped through your faith right now. You're not waiting in vain. You're not hoping in vain. I have never failed you before. I won't start now. Keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting. I'm closer than you think, Even if all you have left is a whisper of belief, I can work with that. Faith is not the loud declaration, it's the quiet resolve that says, even if I don't see it yet, I still believe, so don't stop now. You've come too far to quit. The miracle is closer than it's ever been. The breakthrough is one step of faith away. The healing is unfolding. The provision is coming. The purpose is aligning. The prayers are rising like incense before me, and I am responding. Do not give in to despair. Do not let doubt take root. You were made for more than this moment of pain. You were created for glory. You are my child, and I never abandoned my own. You will look back on this chapter one day and say, now I understand. Now I see why it had to happen that way. Until then, walk by faith, not by sight. I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So, lift your eyes. Let hope rise again. Let joy return to your heart. Let your faith anchor you in my promise. You aren't alone. You are not alone. You are chosen. You are mine. And I will never let you go. Keep believing, my child, because what I'm about to do will blow your mind, in faith, my child. Let me remind you again, faith is not a feeling, it's a choice. A daily surrender. When you choose to believe me despite the tears, despite the fear, despite the silence, that is worship in its purest form. And I receive it like a fragrant offering. You don't have to perform for me. You don't have to hide your frustration. I already know your heart. I already know your doubts. You can bring them to me. I can handle your honesty. You won't be rejected here. You won't be condemned here. You won't be pushed away, The enemy wants you to believe that your faith is useless, that your prayers are ineffective, that your delay is denial. But I say to you, he is a liar. You are closer now than you've ever been. Closer to the breakthrough, closer to the answer, closer to the healing, closer to the promise, But here's what most people miss. The last stretch before a miracle often feels like a war in your mind, a war in your emotions, a war in your faith. The enemy fights the hardest right before the victory because he knows what's coming. He senses the shift. He knows the chains are about to break. He knows the answer is about to arrive, and so he whispers lies, nothing's changing, you're wasting your time, God doesn't hear you. Give up, but I'm here to say, don't give up. This is where faith is built. This is where trust becomes real. This is where intimacy with me deepens. You want miracles. I want maturity. You want answers. I want your attention. You want immediate change. I want lasting transformation, And so I take you through the wilderness, not to break you, but to prepare you, not to punish you, but to position you, not to confuse you, but to clarify your identity. In the fire, your impurities rise to the surface. In the fire, I burn away fear, pride, ego, and doubt. In the fire, you begin to see who you really are and who I really am. So yes, this season may feel hard, it may feel uncertain, but it is not hopeless. It is holy. It is the sacred ground of becoming, the soil where seeds of faith grow deep roots. You may feel like nothing is happening, but everything is happening. I am shifting people. I am moving obstacles. I am orchestrating conversations. I am creating alignments. I am preparing you for a season you haven't even dreamed of yet. That's why I keep whispering, trust me, even when it hurts, even when it's quiet, even when it feels like you're walking alone, because you're not. You're surrounded by angels, covered by grace, empowered by my spirit. And even now, faith is rising within you. Remember, child, faith is the key that unlocks heaven's resources. Faith moves mountains. Faith shuts the mouth of lions. Faith makes a way through the sea. Faith opens barren wombs. Faith calls dead things back to life, and that same faith is inside you, even if it's just a mustard seed today. It's enough, so come back to me. Let me remind you of my promises. Let me speak to your weary heart. Let me carry what you've been trying to hold alone. You were never meant to fight this battle by yourself. When Peter looked at the waves, he sank. But when he looked at me, he walked on water. So look at me now, not the storm, not the bank account, not the diagnosis, not the fear. Look at me. I am still the God who calms seas, who heals the sick, who raises the dead, who provides in famine, who breaks generational chains. Nothing is impossible for me, and if I live in you, then nothing is impossible for you either. You are not forgotten. You are not too broken. You are not behind schedule. You are in process. You are in my hands. You are under my care. You are wrapped in my love. And I will never let you go. Even now I am restoring your hope. Even now I am rebuilding your faith. Even now I am releasing fresh oil upon you, an anointing for endurance, for healing, for boldness, for victory. Let faith rise, let joy return. Let my voice be louder than every fear. And know this, my child, you are not walking in circles. You are walking toward destiny. You are not barely surviving. You are being supernaturally sustained. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. And soon, very soon, you will testify, or you will speak of this season and say, I didn't think I'd make it, but God was faithful. So breathe deep. Let my peace wash over you. Let my word anchor you. Let my spirit lead you. And when you feel weak, just say my name. I am here. I always have been. I always will be. Keep the faith. Your miracle is coming. Subscribe for God Message Now First.